Megan Thompson smiled as she drove her BMW onto the Atlanta highway. She anticipated arriving home a few hours later than planned, blaming it on Atlanta's notorious traffic congestion. Jake's delay in departure proved worthwhile. Nearly a decade younger than Megan, he excelled as a lover, handsome, intelligent, engaging, and quick to recover. Megan couldn't help but think about how they had met at a conference in New York, where his charm had quickly won her over. Megan's thoughts then shifted to her husband Robert, who at 44 lacked Jake's stamina for a fulfilling bed life. Though Robert relied on experience and familiarity with Megan's body, returning to him after Jake brought comfort. She realized she had the best of both worlds, widening her smile. Megan remembered how Robert had surprised her with a romantic getaway for their anniversary last year, complete with a private dinner on the beach and a fireworks show. It was one of the many reasons she cherished him despite their differences. As she distanced herself from Atlanta, thoughts of Jake faded. While he was enjoyable company, Robert and her daughter Lily were her true loves. Megan desired to spend time with them. With her libido satisfied, she grasped her moods better. Upon returning home, she planned to be patient and affectionate with Robert, recognizing him as a wonderful person and an outstanding husband. She recalled how they had met in college, where Robert's dedication and determination had impressed her from the start. Lily, athletic and intelligent, had numerous friends in sports and school. It was common for 2 or 3 of her girlfriends to hang out at their house on weekends. Megan enjoyed their company, and since they admired her as a role model, Megan ensured she was always well-dressed. Holding a prominent position in an architectural firm, she and Robert were respected both individually and as a couple. Robert's dedication to Lily's school events, despite his busy schedule managing the family's successful construction company, was unwavering. Megan cherished sitting beside Robert as they watched their daughter participate in activities. She was aware that several other fathers liked to steal glances at her, but she also observed that many mothers eyed Robert as if they were vultures and he was prey. On the road, even when Megan sat next to him, women often found opportunities to chat and flirt with him, although her attractive husband never seemed to notice. Megan couldn't help but notice it all. After spending several hours on the road, Megan pulled into her garage only to find her husband's pickup truck missing. It was an unexpected and unusual sight, and Megan felt her mood shifting. The least her husband could have done was be home to greet her following a grueling business conference and a long drive home. The house was eerily empty as Megan entered the master bedroom. She couldn't pinpoint the cause, but a sickening feeling settled within her. It was nearing lunchtime, yet no one was home. With Thursday approaching and Robert's work and Lily's school obligations, they should have been home soon. Thus, Megan unpacked before taking a shower while pondering Robert and Lily's inexplicable absence. Megan recalled that her phone had been turned off since dinner the previous evening. Lost in thought on her way home, she hadn't considered why no one was calling her. Robert might have been upset because she hadn't called to thank him for the string of pearls the previous evening. When Jake had ignited her passions, she had completely forgotten about him. As she dried her hair with a towel, she switched on her phone. Robert, once again, congratulated himself on executing a simple yet brilliant plan to surprise and delight his wife. He had been aware of her scheduled conference in Atlanta for months. Megan visited twice a year. As luck would have it, this conference coincided with their 20th wedding anniversary. A few weeks prior, Robert had been approached about constructing a large vacation home for a family in Atlanta. After completing the business aspect of the meeting and feeling at ease with the client, Tom, Robert shared an idea that had recently come to mind. On the 10th of next month, our anniversary, my wife will be attending a conference in downtown Atlanta. I want to surprise her and her colleague with a nice dinner at a restaurant near her hotel. To make it even more special, I've purchased a pearl necklace to present to her at the table during dinner. Let my daughter handle this for you, Tom suggested. She's in college now and knows all the best spots in the city. She can ensure that the necklace ends up in your wife's hands. It sounds like you're counting on luck when your wife returns home, Tom remarked. Why not go to Atlanta with her and deliver it yourself? I've suggested it before, but Megan insists she's too busy to spend time with me. She'll likely have a late dinner and return to the hotel to rest the next day. I have commitments here, and traveling all this way just to be ignored seems a bit foolish, Robert reasoned. I have another suggestion, Robert suggested. What if I treat your daughter and her friend to dinner? If she agrees to sit at the table next to Megan and send me a live video on Facebook, I'd really like to capture Megan's surprised expression when she opens the necklace box. I'll share my daughter's contact information with you, so you can reach out to her and coordinate everything, Tom responded. I'm confident she'll be happy to assist with this. Robert arranged for several pizzas to be delivered to his home for a party he hosted to celebrate his 20th anniversary. He extended invitations to his parents, Megan's parents, his brother and sister-in-law, and Megan's younger divorced sister. They all anticipated witnessing Megan's reaction in real time when he surprised her with an anniversary gift. Robert's 16-year-old daughter Lily was also present with several of her friends. Robert had arranged everything so they could view the video on the large TV screen. Tom's daughter would sit near Megan inconspicuously and stream videos to him via Facebook Live. She arranged for the waiter to deliver the wrapped gift after Megan and her coworker Emily placed their food order. They would observe Megan's live reaction. Robert expressed with a joyful smile, "This will undoubtedly be our best anniversary. Despite the distance, I've ensured that no sound will be transmitted from our end, so feel free to comment, including praising what a great idea it was." "Who's that guy with his mother?" Lily inquired as Megan appeared hand in hand with a handsome young man. "Didn't you say she'd be with Emily?" "I don't know him," Robert admitted. "He seems to be a close friend." Megan's father responded with a harumph and a frown as the couple took their seats. Everyone around Robert's TV easily caught the conversation. "It's nice of your husband to treat us to dinner tonight," the unfamiliar man remarked with a grin. "I'll do my best to make this anniversary unforgettable. At least for you. It'll be even better than your honeymoon." "Then you better order a steak," Megan retorted with a grin. "You'll need the strength. My honeymoon was epic." "Is it true?" the man inquired. "Did you have a lover then? Or did your husband manage to ring the bells?" "Robert did a great job, thanks for asking," Megan replied. "You're the only lover I've had in the last 20 years. Not counting Robert, of course." Fortunately, he slowed down. "The good news is this. You'll have a much better 20th anniversary tonight than most women. I'll take care of it." "Maybe we've seen enough," Megan's sister suggested nervously. "This isn't entirely fair. Megan has no clue what we're watching or listening to. Why don't you turn it off, Robert? We wouldn't want to miss Megan's reaction when she receives her necklace, would we?" Robert, determined but visibly flushed, asked. "Let's keep watching this disaster unfold a little longer." While the couple placed their order, but the older woman simply chuckled at his remark. "I gave you a pearl necklace last night, which I think looks much better on you than this one," Jake quipped, leaning in to kiss Megan on the lips. "That's the difference between a husband and a lover," Megan said with a sultry grin. "Husbands give us jewelry, and lovers give us pleasure." "I'm sorry, but I can't continue," whispered the stunning red-haired girl, likely Tom's daughter, as she turned off her phone. "I should have stopped sooner, but I was so shocked that I froze. I'm truly sorry it ended this way. I'll delete everything from my phone. I have to go." The TV screen went blank, and a heavy silence enveloped the room. One of Lily's friends broke the silence. "It's getting late. We should head out. See you at school tomorrow." "I don't even know if I'll go," Lily replied, tears welling in her eyes. "Dad, can I go home with my friends? I just need to be with them right now." "Of course, honey. I understand. We'll talk tomorrow. Drive safely, girls," Robert whispered, his throat dry. "I'm at a loss for words," Megan's mother began. "I think we misinterpreted what was happening. Megan loves you, Robert, and is willing to do anything for Lily. Please don't do anything hasty." Robert's other guests echoed similar sentiments as they quietly discussed the situation. After a few minutes of calm conversation, Robert reached a decision. "I need time to think about everything. Please find your way out and give me some space to be alone and consider my options." Once everyone had left, Robert began packing his suitcase. Megan was taken aback by the flurry of messages and missed calls she had received since she had turned off her phone the previous evening. As she read through the messages, her heart sank. Her sister and mother demanded to know who Jake was and why she was so friendly with him. They accused her of breaking Robert's heart, and Lily was also very upset. Her mother and sister had sent her at least a dozen messages each. Megan checked her messages to see if she had any from Robert, but found none. How did her family discover Jake? And how much do they really know? Where are Robert and Lily? How can she navigate the predicament she's in? She needed to ascertain precisely what Robert was aware of and what he merely suspected. Megan realized she needed to communicate with family members to gauge the severity of her situation. "Mother, it's me. I forgot I turned off my phone last night." Megan began as calmly as possible. "I noticed you tried to reach me. Is there something wrong? Only if you believe losing your husband, alienating and embarrassing your daughter, disgracing your parents, and behaving like a promiscuous woman can be considered wrong. I assume it doesn't bother you much. Otherwise, you wouldn't be flaunting a pearl necklace from your boyfriend," her mother ranted. "Robert gave me a string of pearls for our anniversary," Megan countered. "Why should this upset you? Your father and I have seen enough old adult films to understand what your boyfriend meant when he said you were wearing his pearl necklace," Megan's mother retorted. "Mother, what makes you think I would do something like that? Why do you think I have a boyfriend?" Megan asked, fear knotting in her gut. "Don't play games with me. I'm not stupid," her mother growled. "Robert invited us to witness you opening his 20th anniversary gift at the restaurant. He reserved a table for you and your colleague. I believe her name was Emily. We've seen this whole sordid story. Your husband treats you like a queen, and you don't respect him. Husbands give jewelry, and lovers give climaxes, I think you said. Did you hear me say that?" asked a shocked Megan. "How is this possible?" Robert asked a friend's daughter to do some kind of live broadcast from her phone. "He wanted us to see how delighted you would be with his gift. Then we were all going to call and congratulate you on your anniversary," her mother said sadly. "Looks like this might be your last anniversary, at least with Robert. Perhaps you'll reunite with your favorite boy once things settle down." "Mother, you know I love Robert. That other guy means nothing to me. It was just something to pass the time. These conferences are getting boring," Megan asserted. "Oh, this changes everything," her mother retorted sarcastically. "Robert will feel much better knowing that his wife is not a strumpet and that she was just bored. I assume you left your puzzle at home." "Mom, there's no use calling me names. How can I convince Robert that he is the only man I love? You didn't even convince me, so I'd say you have some work to do," Megan shot back. "Watching you with that man is the worst thing I've ever seen. I highly doubt Robert found it any better." After her conversation with her mother, Megan pondered her predicament. Her entire family had witnessed and heard everything she and Jake had discussed at dinner the night before. Recalling her dialogue with Jake, Megan realized the severity of her situation. She decided to call Lily. "Lily, where are you?" Megan inquired when Lily answered her call. "I'm with Morgan. She's trying to console me because my family is falling apart," Megan's daughter replied. "We're not falling apart. Please come home so we can discuss this." "Where is your father?" Megan asked uncertainly. "He's moved to a cottage by the lake," Lily responded. "I don't think he wants to see you. He was so happy last night when he invited everyone to watch you open your gift. You practically broke his heart when you showed up with your lover instead of Emily. Please come home," Megan implored, trying to think of what she could say to Robert to earn his forgiveness. After ending her conversation with Lily, Megan began to survey the house. She noticed that a laptop and several filing cabinets were absent from Robert's office. The closet in their bedroom was completely empty. It felt as empty as Hubbard's mother's closet. Megan fought back tears as she wandered aimlessly around the house, noting the missing items. Robert hadn't taken a single photograph of her presence. This realization felt particularly disheartening. Seeking a distraction from her crumbling marriage, Megan began preparing dinner for Lily. By the time Lily arrived home, Megan had managed to prepare a modest meal. Lily was sullen and only spoke to Megan when directly questioned. Even then, her responses were brief. Megan admitted to herself that her daughter had valid reasons to be angry with her, but she hoped that over time, the animosity would, if not fully dissipate, at least diminish. At dawn the next morning, Megan entered their lakeside cabin to discover Robert slouched uncomfortably and passed out on the small couch. Several empty beer cans littered the floor. "Robert, honey, we need to talk. Wake up, please," she urged. Robert slowly opened his eyes and groaned. He rose gradually and, without a word, headed to the bathroom. While waiting for her husband to return, Megan decided to brew some coffee. A few minutes later, Robert, refreshed from his shower, joined her in the kitchen, where Megan placed a mug in front of him. She hoped Robert would initiate the difficult conversation, but that hope soon waned. It was evident Robert had no intention of broaching the subject. "Robert, I'm sorry about what happened. I love pearls. It was a wonderful gift that I'll always cherish. It's just a shame I wasn't aware you'd share everything with your family. It would have been helpful if you'd told me," Megan expressed. "Go to hell," Robert retorted, infuriated by Megan's attempt to portray him as the wrongdoer. His response surprised and hurt Megan. Throughout their marriage, Robert had never spoken to her disrespectfully. This blatant change was a clear indicator of the pain she'd inflicted upon him. "That won't solve anything," Megan responded calmly. "Tell me, how can I make things right? You're the only man I've ever loved who hasn't changed. Together, we can address this." "So what specific issue do you want to resolve?" Robert asked calmly. "The issue is that I surprised you with an anniversary gift at a nice restaurant, where I reserved a table for you and a friend. My client's daughter agreed to send a live video of your reaction. I mistakenly assumed you'd appreciate the gesture. Tell me what the problem is so I understand," Robert explained. "You know what the problem is," Megan insisted. "Last night you saw me with Jake at the restaurant. I've dined with others before. Why do you think that's an issue?" Robert inquired. "You know perfectly well why this is a problem. I told you I was dining with Emily, but I was actually with Jake. You overheard our conversation and learned we slept together. That's the problem we need to address. To clarify, is the issue that I, along with your entire family, overheard your conversation, or is it that you had lovemaking with another man?" "The problem lies with my behavior," admitted a flushed Megan, realizing she couldn't go on the offensive in her current predicament. "You were simply trying to be kind to me on our anniversary. You didn't do anything wrong." "Good, we're making progress. Now explain why you cheated on me behind my back. For how long and with how many men?" "Robert, let's not resort to vulgarity or offense," Megan responded. "Lily is undoubtedly your daughter. Jake has been my sole partner since we started dating. Your remarks about my fidelity and Lily's paternity were needlessly hurtful." "I'm struggling to comprehend your reasoning," Robert retorted. "You admit to cheating, yet you insist there's a limit to how unfaithful you are. You want me to be polite and understanding, even gullible, when you claim to belong to just one man. Are you proud of your limited infidelity? And for the record, how long have you been involved with handsome Jake? How often?" "This marks the third conference where we've been carnal," Megan confessed tearfully, finally sensing the depth of Robert's anger and humiliation. "Apart from you, he's the only man I've been with since we married 20 years ago. It amounted to 2 nights together at each of the 3 conferences." Robert noted. "Have you ever been carnal with him elsewhere?" "No," Megan affirmed. "It occurred 6 times in total, and I deeply regret it. I owe you an apology." "Are you suggesting that a young guy like Jake was only capable of once a night with someone like you? He never engaged with you more than once." "What does it matter?" queried a disheartened Megan. "We probably did it 3 times every night." "Now the big question," Robert announced. "Why did you engage with another man? Was our closeness so unappreciated, so mundane, so unsatisfying that you sought out a younger, more fulfilling lover?" "Absolutely not. I was bored, and he persistently pursued me. I proved to be weak. It's not about you or our closeness. It's my own vanity, perhaps a midlife crisis. He means nothing to me, I swear. It's evident you engaged with a man who held no significance, Robert reiterated. Did you engage with Mr. Jenkins? The guy from down the street with those absurd shirts? Of course not. I barely know him, and I find him repulsive. So he holds no significance to you? Robert pressed on. You just admitted to me that you engage with men you don't love and who hold no significance to you. Jenkins fits that description. So why didn't you engage with him? I didn't say that. I engage with any man who holds no significance to me. Megan clarified, distressed. I engaged with Jake because he's attractive, polite, and successful. He pursued me. Are you suggesting that you'll only be unfaithful with attractive, successful men who chase after you? Other than a few of these individuals, are you a faithful wife? If you don't love the men you engage with, doesn't that imply you don't love me? No, Megan objected, visibly embarrassed. I'm telling you that I made a terrible mistake, and it won't happen again. I love you, not Jake. How can I be sure of this? Robert asked softly. You made vows at our wedding and on numerous occasions throughout the years to be faithful to me. You're a beautiful woman. Handsome, successful men will always pursue you. I can't trust you. I can't even provide you with the great lovemaking you enjoy so much. Don't ever think like that, Robert. I love making love with you. He's different and makes me feel cherished, Megan replied. What about Jake made you keep going back to him? Robert inquired gently. Unclean, used not like a mother or wife. It was the taboo that kept me hooked, not love. What did you do with him and how? Robert asked quietly. Why does it matter? I love only you, Megan objected, visibly embarrassed. I have some things to consider. You stand here telling me you love me, not him, but you engaged in carnal relations with him. It's hard for me to grasp that. You're willing to do more for someone who means nothing to you than for the person you love, Robert reasoned. You haven't asked me to please you below the belt for a long time. I wasn't against it. I thought you'd lost interest, Megan defended, aware of how feeble her words sounded. Yes, what husband would want that from his wife, especially when she freely gives it away? You assured me on our honeymoon that I'd be the only man you loved, Robert reminisced. You and the handsome guy must have had quite the time. With me, everything was wrong. He never mentioned you. I wouldn't tolerate that, Megan insisted. You seem to forget I heard several minutes of your conversation. This idiot insulted me several times, and you went along with it. Remember when he hinted he'd give you a better 20th anniversary than most wives? You didn't object, did you? Why are we wasting time here? Robert demanded suddenly. You found someone new. I accept it. It seems you should too. Why pretend you want to remain married? It's clear you didn't enjoy being my wife, and let's not even discuss bad lovemaking. You're beautiful, successful, and smart, and I bring nothing to the table. It was only a matter of time before you sought something better. Congratulations, you found it. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Robert, we can't let this conversation end like this, Megan pleaded tearfully. We need to discuss everything and find a way back. You can have your lawyer speak to mine. It's over between us. Megan, I'm filing for divorce. You left me no choice that day, Robert declared firmly. Megan went to work but was confronted in the break room by an angry Emily. Why did Robert inquire about me accompanying you to Atlanta for a conference? You know I stopped attending them after you started spending your nights with Romeo from the Chicago office. I won't be used as a cover for your infidelity. Did Robert contact you, and what did you tell him? I have to admit the truth. I skipped the last two conferences. I thought you had informed him that we were supposed to share a room and attend the conference together. Emily lamented. That's not a concern anymore. Robert found out everything on this trip. I think he's going to divorce me, Megan confessed. What else did you expect? Emily demanded. No decent man could tolerate this level of disrespect. I was too blind and self-centered to even consider Robert discovering this, Megan replied. Honestly, he's moved out. Do you realize the choice you made when you slept with that despicable guy from Chicago? Emily asked, her tone softening slightly. I'm sorry you lost Robert. But I warned you this would happen if you kept going like this. I didn't rat you out if that's what you're thinking. I know, Emily. I owe you an apology. I betrayed your trust. I regret not listening to your advice. I don't deserve someone like Robert. Upon learning of Megan's infidelity, Robert took a day off from work. He was determined to relocate all his belongings to the lake house before Megan returned home. He didn't want to hear her justifications or excuses for cheating. While he dreaded life without Megan, he knew he could never forgive her blatant disregard for his feelings or her indifference to loyalty and respect. Her unexpected visit the following morning only underscored the vast emotional divide between them. She offered no words that could ease his pain or facilitate forgiveness for her betrayal. He scheduled an appointment with a lawyer for the following day. The following day, as he prepared to leave the office for a meeting with a divorce lawyer, he received a new email from Megan. He debated whether to read it or delete it, eventually opting to open it. True to form, Megan addressed the issue directly in her message. Robert felt only despair as he read her confession and plea for forgiveness. It was typical of her to accept responsibility for her actions after reflecting on the situation. She was a strong woman, demanding the best from both herself and others. Feeling hollow, Robert saw no reason to respond to the letter. When Megan arrived at Robert's lake house, her sole source of information about Robert was Lily. On Friday afternoon, Lily informed Megan that she would be spending the weekend at her dad's cabin with Robert, bringing her home on Sunday evening. Megan realized this would likely be the pattern of her life moving forward. She spent a miserable weekend contemplating how she had ruined her life and whether it was even possible to fix it. Had she irreparably damaged her once happy marriage? Upon returning home on Sunday evening, Lily appeared somber. Dad has decided to divorce you. He can't stay with someone who has lost all respect for him. I saw him cry multiple times this weekend. I've never seen him like that before, Lily revealed. Do you realize how much you hurt him? Maybe your boyfriend is better than Dad. He's not my boyfriend, and he can't compare to your father, Megan replied, stunned. It was a huge mistake, and I deeply regret it. Your father is the best man I've ever known. Please forgive both him and me for being doubtful. Casey responded, This isn't the first time you've been with that guy, is it? You've been lying to us for years, haven't you? Megan realized it was time to stop deceiving her family. I had relations with him at 2 conferences prior to the last one. It was a mistake, and I apologize, Megan confessed. A mistake? That's putting it mildly, Mom, Casey objected angrily. You betrayed Dad in the worst way possible. Didn't you promise to be faithful when you married him? Did you secretly hope it wouldn't count? I know you're mad at me, but not nearly as much as I am at you. Dad is a wonderful man and a great father. You know that. What I did doesn't change my opinion of him. I acted foolishly, Megan admitted sadly. As you say, Lily replied before retreating to her room. Normalcy returned between Megan and Janet, but communication with Lily became scarce. Megan found solace in her job, which remained unaffected except for Emily's chilly demeanor towards her. She attended Lily's school events, usually alone unless accompanied by her mother, which was the only time she saw Robert. He kept his distance noticeably so, and other parents took notice. The news of their impending divorce spread quickly through the community, leading to crude remarks and insinuations directed at Megan. Meanwhile, Robert immersed himself in his business, finding some redemption amidst the chaos. Ironically, Megan would receive half of the business despite his lawyer's advice to minimize her share. Robert refused, citing her invaluable contributions during the company's early struggles. He insisted on fairness, refusing to deny Megan her rightful share. Megan was taken aback when her lawyer explained Robert's decision to give her half of his ownership in the business. Previously, during a financial crisis, the company had been sold to Robert's best friend Tom, who became a silent partner. With Megan now owning half, Robert found himself in a precarious position. Tell Robert this is too generous, Megan urged her lawyer. He's the one who dedicated his time and effort to the business. If he insists on giving me a share, propose a fraction of what we own. He should retain control to avoid future disputes. Robert remained steadfast. When spring arrived and the snow melted, Megan found herself single again and a third owner of Thompson Enterprises. Robert cut all ties with her, even refusing to speak on the phone. Lily expressed her desire to spend the summer between her junior and senior years with her father at the lake house. While Megan recognized it as another form of punishment from Lily, she accepted that she had brought upon herself her daughter's disdain. Robert, on his part, was thrilled. He devised plans to nearly double the size of the cottage. Being the owner of a construction company, he effortlessly completed the expansion by the end of July. It was now a 3-bedroom lake house, each with its own bathroom and picturesque lake views. The house had been completely modernized and was now exceptionally comfortable. During the first weekend of August, Robert hosted an open house for his friends and neighbors by the lake, inviting all of Lily's friends as well. Among them was one girl's older cousin, Rachel, who caught Robert's eye. She had a striking blonde appearance that was accentuated by a rather modest 2-piece swimsuit. Throughout the day, Robert couldn't help but notice that she seemed to gravitate towards him. She laughed at his jokes and flirted with him whenever she had the chance. "So, Dad, are you enjoying the little bikini party?" Lily asked one day when they were alone in the kitchen. "Absolutely not," Robert protested. "She can't be more than 25, and I haven't even considered getting back into the dating scene." "She's 27 and seems quite keen on you," Lily replied with a knowing smile. "She's been asking about your relationship status, age, occupation, basically everything women want to know about potential husbands." "I just met her today," Robert responded. "Don't even mention marriage to me. I tried it once, and that was enough. I'm not implying anything other than her seeming interest. I wouldn't mind if you dated her. She's pretty, kind, and you could use someone to help you move on from Mom. Rachel doesn't seem in a rush to get married. I think she's focused on her career right now, but that doesn't mean she's not open to male companionship." "Thanks for the heads up," Robert teased his daughter. "This girl is too attractive to be interested in an old guy like me, but I appreciate your trust. It means a lot to me." Megan's company occupied the top 2 floors of an office building in the business district. At the end of the same block sat a highly popular Italian bistro. She used to have lunch there every Thursday with a few colleagues from work. Because their lunches were informal, they often saw familiar faces dining at the same time. Megan and her coworkers had befriended employees from several other companies in the building. One afternoon, the bistro was unusually crowded, and Megan's group couldn't secure a table. An employee from Benson Advertising, situated on the 2nd floor of Megan's building, invited her group to join them at a spacious table, which they promptly accepted. After everyone exchanged their first and last names for introductions, the conversation commenced. One woman from the advertising team stood out for her attractiveness and amiability. Megan found herself enjoying the young woman's sense of humor as the other ladies playfully teased her. "We don't all wake up to a rich guy with a big house on Lake Henry," Mary, whom Megan recognized, teased. "Must be nice to greet the morning sun bouncing off the lake." "Absolutely," the young woman concurred. "Especially when you have a handsome man tenderly waking you up. Getting out of bed becomes such a chore. If that's the guy who picked you up after work on Thursday, I can see why it might be tough," remarked another woman. "He seems a bit older than you, but he's clearly in good shape and has a full head of hair. Not bad looking at all." "He's all that and more," the young woman chimed in with a wide smile. "He's a really great guy and an amazing lover." To Megan's dismay, her friend immediately broached the topic she didn't want to delve into. "You're not talking about Robert Thompson, are you? Do you know Robert?" the young beauty asked, adding, "You have to admit he's quite the catch. He's a fantastic guy, but he used to be Megan's husband," her colleague revealed. "I think we should change the subject." "Don't exaggerate," Megan asserted, leaning in toward the young woman and offering her hand. "I'm Megan Thompson. I didn't catch your name." "Rachel Lawson." Robert introduced her. "I thought his ex-wife was stunning, but I figured he was just blinded by love," Rachel confessed. "Turns out he didn't do you justice." I hope you won't mind that I'm living with Robert now. I certainly can't blame you or him for that matter, Megan responded honestly. You're a beautiful young woman with a fantastic figure. I can see why Robert was attracted to you. I wonder why Lily never mentioned you to me. I can't speak for Lily, but I must say you've raised your daughter well. She's intelligent, attentive, and as lovely as her mother. I always enjoy her visits, Rachel concluded. Later that evening, Megan broached the subject with Lily during dinner. Why didn't you tell me that your dad has a beautiful girlfriend who's moved in with him? I'd have thought you'd mention something like that. Honestly, Mom, I didn't want to upset you. I know how you feel about Dad, Lily explained. I'm still upset about what happened between you two, but I don't want to cause you more pain because of your mistakes. Rachel is actually good for Dad. He seems genuinely happy again. That might surprise you, but I'm glad to hear that Robert's happy. He's a wonderful person and deserves to be with someone who cares for him, even if it's not me. I don't think she's head over heels for Dad, but she really likes him. She's made it clear that her career is her priority right now. I'm focused on making strides in marketing over the next few years. Are you considering dating again, Mom? Are you still in touch with your conference boyfriend? Do you think you could reconcile with him? Lily inquired. I wouldn't consider Jake as a potential partner, Megan confessed. He's shallow, somewhat impolite, self-centered, and vain. I never saw our interactions as anything beyond amusement, yet it turned into a nightmare. Although I was aware of my actions, I shouldn't blame him for my own weakness. Are you interested in someone else? Lily inquired. You're still attractive. I've noticed how some fathers and teachers look at you and make an effort to be courteous during school events. To be honest, I feel like Robert has set the bar high for other men, Megan responded with a sad smile. The reasons for our divorce are widely known in the community. It garners sympathy from women for your father and makes men view me as an easy target. Jake probably found it easy, but I won't make that mistake again. I just can't understand how I could betray your father when I loved him so deeply. Lily was taken aback. He always treated you with love and respect. Something must have gone wrong. I've asked myself the same question, Megan admitted. I think I started taking your father for granted. I knew he loved me, and I was overly confident in that love. Somehow, this led me to entertain the idea of being with another man, perhaps because I felt secure knowing I had a dependable partner at home. Robert was my rock. I foolishly believed he'd always be there. I thought I could stray a little and he wouldn't notice. And yet, my devoted husband would still be waiting at home. I hope you find a man like Robert when you're ready to settle down and learn from my mistakes. Never take more than you give in a relationship. Be faithful, committed, and truthful. If you're considering something that could damage your relationship, talk to your husband about it. I've shown you what happens when you lie and cheat. Occasionally, Megan would encounter Rachel during lunch. She was surprised by how much she enjoyed Rachel's company. She also felt ashamed that she was eagerly awaiting any news about Robert. Lily refrained from divulging too much about her father to Megan, recognizing that certain personal details were off-limits to share as his daughter. Meanwhile, Rachel freely conversed about Robert with her friends. It's evident that you still care deeply for Robert, Rachel observed during a lunch conversation with Megan. He never speaks ill of you, but it's clear you hurt him deeply. I won't judge, but I personally couldn't imagine betraying someone I'm in a relationship with. It's hard to reconcile that with the person I see and hear from you, someone who seems to love and respect him. I would urge you to keep that in mind when the initial passion wanes and you're faced with the realities of everyday life, Megan responded. I lost my path and paid the price. Love isn't always about excitement and luxury. Sometimes it's about mundane decisions like when to clean the septic tank or what color to paint the house. It all becomes routine, but that's normal. Robert is an upright businessman, a devoted friend, and an exceptional father. I'll always love him, but I betrayed him in the worst possible way. I've learned my lesson, perhaps a bit too late. Last night, I informed Robert that I've accepted a job offer in Seattle and will be leaving in 2 weeks. It's a fantastic opportunity for me. I've always prioritized my career, But I can see that my news upset him, Rachel shared. I'm telling you this so you understand what he's going through and maybe offer him support if he becomes down. He truly is a wonderful man. He may not be my lifelong partner, but I'm sure he'll miss you dearly. Megan remarked, Robert doesn't make decisions lightly. If he invited you to live with him, it speaks volumes about how highly he regards you as a person, not just for your looks. Yet he's resilient. I tested his strength, but he emerged stronger. He's made significant progress. He'll miss you, but he's a great catch, and I doubt his bed will remain empty for long. Yes, that's why I'm sharing this information with you first, Rachel responded with a smile of her own. What you choose to do with it is entirely up to you. Just a week later, Robert's closest friend and covert partner Tom requested Megan's presence for lunch at the bistro. Despite the crowded room, they managed to secure a small table in a corner. After exchanging pleasantries and formalities, Tom proceeded to explain the purpose behind their meeting. You're aware of that plot of land Robert purchased on Route 21 near the river. I've got a buyer who's willing to shell out nearly $2 million for it. Robert practically snagged it for a steal. The profit margin would be immense. Your share, as a third owner, would amount to over $500,000, Tom elaborated. Robert mentioned that this land could be a valuable investment, likely to appreciate significantly in the future. Do you think he's considering selling it? Megan inquired, curious about her involvement in the discussion. That's the issue, Tom responded. He's contemplating offering it for a long-term lease instead. He wants to ensure the contract includes provisions for his company to construct facilities tailored to the tenant's business needs. That sounds like Robert, Megan admitted with a grin, acknowledging his astuteness and business acumen. I'm certain he's crunched the numbers and believes his strategy will yield greater long-term gains. What's the concern? My inclination is to capitalize on a quick profit by selling the land. Planning a decade or more ahead is commendable, but I'm more inclined to secure the funds now. You and I each own a third of the company, so together we could push Robert to accept the offer and then distribute our share of the profits. Robert won't lose out. He'll receive $500,000 in cash to smooth over any potential friction, Tom proposed. As Megan listened to Tom's suggestion, she felt her frustration mounting. Are you suggesting I betray Robert's trust? Do you think money holds greater value for me than preserving Robert's trust, as you seem to imply? Let me make one thing clear. Robert would perceive this as a complete and utter betrayal from both his wife and his closest friend. This would be the ultimate blow to him, Megan retorted firmly. Worse than his wife engaging in an affair with some young guy at a conference? Tom teased. You're his ex-wife for a reason. You've already betrayed him. He divorced you for your infidelity. This is an opportunity to seek a little retribution and simultaneously secure a substantial sum of money. Tom reasoned. I acknowledge that I betrayed Robert, and I take full responsibility, Megan responded, her anger barely contained. I acted foolishly and selfishly, but I never intended to inflict injury upon him. He deserves better than both of us and deserves far more trustworthy business partners than either of us could ever be. That's precisely why I'll never betray him again. I'd sooner lose every penny than cause Robert further pain. I've already demonstrated that I was a terrible wife, and now you've proven yourself to be a disloyal friend and partner. Robert will have control over my share of the company for as long as I live. In fact, I'll be drafting a new will to ensure Robert inherits my share upon my passing. You should have more faith in his business acumen. With a surge of anger, Megan rose from her seat, dropping money on the table to cover her half-eaten lunch. She locked eyes with Tom. Please refrain from attempting to steal from me again. Nearly a month later, Megan opened the door to find Robert standing on the porch. She was taken aback by the sight. Robert had intentionally avoided her since the day she returned from the disastrous conference. Robert, please come in. Everything is all right. Lily left a few moments ago if you're looking for her, Megan said, feeling a rush of excitement at Robert's unexpected visit. I'm available to talk if you've got a moment, Robert initiated as he stepped into the house that had been his for over 15 years. Could you spare a few minutes? If you're busy, I can come back later. I'm not occupied, Megan promptly replied. And I just brewed some coffee. Why don't we sit in the kitchen? Thanks for accommodating me so quickly, Robert said, grabbing his coffee mug. You always brewed top-notch coffee. I didn't even know how to make it when we first got married. Megan reminisced with a smile. It took me some time to get the hang of it. I didn't marry you for your coffee-making skills, Robert retorted. You had other qualities that I found much more appealing. I don't recall you calling them qualities, Megan chuckled. But I do recall you calling them Smith & Wesson on a few occasions. Yeah, you brought out the big weapons and I was defenseless against you, Robert admitted. Rachel must have you wrapped around her finger or some other part of her body, Megan teased. She's quite charming. I appreciate how fondly you've treated her. She holds you in high regard. Her opinion of you is one of the reasons why I'm here. A couple of weeks ago, one of her friends overheard your conversation with Tom during lunch. Rachel mentioned it before heading out west. She believes your dedication and integrity have been outstanding. I have to agree. Despite how I treated you during the divorce, you flatly refused Tom. Many women whose husbands divorced them so swiftly would seek revenge or at least recompense. I'd never do that to you, Robert. I understand how diligently you work on your projects and how much they mean to you. I also know you'll ensure this property generates far more revenue than Tom anticipates. He's underestimating you, Megan concluded. I appreciate your vote of confidence. Rachel helped me come to terms with the fact that you were my partner, even though I often ran the business as if it were solely mine. I want to hear your thoughts and what you'd like to do, Robert stated. If you're inclined to sell this property and split the proceeds, I'm on board. Tom's been pushing for a sale, Robert revealed. I suspect he's short on cash. He believes that selling this land will net each of us $500,000 without cutting into his stake. Is this something you're interested in? I believe you've got plans for this property that will benefit the company and earn goodwill from the community, Megan replied with evident pride. You've never been one to see quick profits. I've always known you aim to uplift the area while making solid profits. You've got something in mind for this site, don't you? I've been negotiating a long-term lease with General Hospital to construct an emergency care complex here, Robert admitted. It won't yield as much profit as the luxury condo project Tom's firm is pushing for, but it'll still be lucrative and come with a guaranteed contract. Plus, it'll create jobs and foster goodwill. I had a feeling it might turn out this way, Megan responded with a hint of satisfaction. You're not just a savvy businessman, but you also invest in the community. That's what distinguishes you from folks like Tom. Tom's all about quick profits, but I don't share that mindset. From what I gather, he pitched his idea to you and you turned him down. I have complete faith in you, Robert. You've never given me a reason not to trust my judgment. I'll stand by your business decisions no matter what, Megan assured. It might sound odd since you've got every reason not to trust me, but it's true. I've been thinking about how Tom's meddling with your business. Crossed my mind that we should buy him out. If he's short on cash, he might entertain a reasonable offer. It'd be a win-win. He'd be content, and you'd have full control over your business, Megan reasoned. I've considered it, but I don't have the capital to pull it off, Robert admitted. We could sell this house, Megan proposed. I can find a nice 2-bedroom apartment for Lily and me. Over the years, we've amassed quite a bit of equity. The house is nearly paid off and you've made significant upgrades. It should provide enough to buy out Tom's share. Now that we're divorced, this is your home. Are you willing to sell it and invest in the business? Robert asked incredulously. I can't promise when the deal for the urgent care center will close. I can't guarantee you'll see your investment back anytime soon or at all. Am I looking worried? Megan joked. Remember, I was married to you for 20 years. You'll get it all back with interest. If for some reason it doesn't work out, that's fine. I owe you one. Robert, money will never make up for my betrayal, but it'll keep you away from Tom. I'll agree to this if you move back into the lake house or with me and Lily, Robert proposed. We'll quickly get you your own room with a bathroom. It's been nicely done up. I don't think that's feasible, Megan replied sadly. It's a personal matter. Not to mention the dating scene and all the drama it'd stir up for you. I didn't consider your social life, Robert admitted. Of course, you wouldn't want to bring a gentleman over when your ex-husband's living next door, especially not that guy Jake. It'd be awkward. I don't go on dates and don't plan to start, Megan replied. I stopped attending conferences and haven't spoken to Jake since that disastrous trip. It's you who will be inconvenienced. No woman would want to spend the night with you when your ex is just next door. With me around, it's highly unlikely you'd find a woman willing to move in with you, though I wouldn't rule it out entirely. I've seen women fall for you. I divorced you because of your affair, and then I moved Rachel in with me. Robert posed a rhetorical question. Wasn't my behavior a poor example for Lily? My only justification is that I was feeling depressed and lonely. Another man took my wife from me, and my self-esteem hit rock bottom. Rachel managed to restore it. I regret damaging your self-esteem. I wish this hadn't occurred, but I don't hold you responsible for falling for Rachel. She's an exceptional woman. You're single and free to pursue any relationship, Megan remarked, adding, I don't think I've ever properly apologized for my actions. You weren't the cause of it. It's all on me. I made a huge mistake, and I'm genuinely sorry for the pain and trouble I caused you. You really hurt me, Megan. I've never been unfaithful. I lived for you and Lily. I went from having everything to feeling like a complete failure, Robert confessed. Rachel helped me realize that while I may not have been a perfect husband, I wasn't the reason for your infidelity. If you weren't happy with our marriage or our closeness, you could have told me. I would have tried to improve if I'd known. I was just naive, not unhappy. Robert, you were an excellent husband, a wonderful father to Lily, and a fantastic lover, Megan acknowledged. I lost my way and deserved to be unhappy. It might sound odd, but being unhappy brings me some sort of solace. I feel like I'm paying for my mistakes. Perhaps you could at least come and see the lake house, Robert proposed. I'd like to show it to you and get your feedback. I've incorporated some of the ideas we've discussed over the years into the renovation. I think you'll approve. Lily has a volleyball match in 2 hours. Can we postpone this offer? Megan requested. Let's check it out before the match. We can go together, Robert suggested. And then I'll bring you back here. Aren't you concerned that people will assume we're back together if we go as a couple? You usually keep your distance from me, Megan pointed out. Yeah, I was a bit harsh, but in my defense, you messed up me and our marriage. You couldn't expect me to be friendly towards you, Robert argued. Actually, you were much kinder to me than I would have been to you if roles were reversed, Megan admitted. Your settlement offer was overly generous. We both know it. Seems like your kindness is paying off, Robert grumbled. We're considering selling the house to buy out Tom's share. I still find it hard to believe that you're willing to do this. Honestly, Robert, you can take whatever you want from me. You've always been honest with me. I know you won't damage me, even though I deserve it. Let me give you a tour of the lake house, Robert suggested, aiming to shift the conversation and compose his emotions. As Robert guided Megan through the house, she admired the renovations. You've done an amazing job. Lily's room is spacious, and having her own bathroom is every teenage girl's dream, she remarked. When Robert showed Megan the second bedroom, she felt it was time to address the elephant in the room. It's a lovely room with another fantastic bathroom, but I can't stay here, Robert. It would be too painful for me to see you every day and be reminded of what I've lost. We'll sell the house, and I'll rent an apartment. I'll be okay. We need to head out soon for Lily's match. Let me show you the master bedroom, Robert urged. It's larger than the others. I'm sure you'll love it. It's beautiful. You've done an excellent job as always, Megan complimented, examining the bedroom. That's why your business is thriving. You have an eye for detail. Would you stay with me and Lily if you had this room? Robert asked abruptly. I'd still have to see you every day, and I don't think I could handle it, Megan replied sadly. I didn't mean for it to be exclusively yours, Robert explained anxiously. I thought maybe we could share it. Megan raised her eyebrows, scrutinizing Robert's expression. Are you asking me to share your bed? Since the day I found out about your affair and left, I felt awful. I miss you so much it hurts sometimes. You messed up big time, but I slept with Rachel for months. That lessened the blow a bit but didn't erase it. I wonder if we can move past all this and try to be together again. I won't be your doormat, Megan asserted. If you want to punish me further, I won't do it. If I move in with you, I'll be completely faithful and expect the same from you. No more young beauties in your bed. It'll be just me, or I'll be gone in a heartbeat. I've worked hard to regain my self-respect, and I intend to keep it. I love you, Robert, but you have to be all in or I'm out. Lily was taken aback when her parents walked into the gym arm in arm. She rushed over to them to speak privately. Mom, Dad, does this mean? Lily started, but Robert smiled and nodded before she could finish. Lily hugged her mother tightly and whispered in her ear, Welcome home, Mom. I love you, but don't ever cheat on Dad again. I have a friend with a single aunt who's even more beautiful than Rachel.